Hey there, I'm the MadCatster. Am I glad to see you here? Well, I haven't talked about the whole Lauren the Mortician scandal, only because everybody else has talked it to death, basically. But there's been a new development because she's now suing several creators in federal court, and I have got a copy of the lawsuit. It's ridiculous. You know me, I've got the deets and all the receipts, so buckle up and let's go. So Sibylline Forster's upstairs sleeping. She's not feeling good. Her mouth is hurting. We're going back to the vet tomorrow to get her steroids so that she'll feel better. First, I want to thank Damien and Robert. They each bought me a cup of coffee. Thank you so much. That's the thing that's for me. I really appreciate it. I have a bunch of people to thank for the Amazon wishlist, the cat's Amazon wishlist, which is listed down below in the description. A lot of you have been very generous for the holidays. We really appreciate you. There's so many of them to go through that I'm going to save them for the end of the video. Also, one quick thing. I had a viewer reach out to me, and I normally don't do this kind of thing, but I did verify that she's legit. She has a 15-year-old cat who has an abscessed tooth. She cannot afford to get dental surgery for the cat. And I know firsthand from my experience how expensive dental surgery is. It's very expensive. If she doesn't get the dental surgery, there's only one other option. I'm sure you know what that is without me having to say it. I would hate to see somebody lose their cat that they've cherished for so long over something that's fixable. I had posted yesterday on my community page an announcement about it and a link, and a lot of you have gone and donated, and thank you so much. I'm also going to show you, it is legit. I'm going to put up here the estimate from her vet. I've redacted out personal information, but you can see it's for real. If you would like to help her get to the last third of her goal, I'm going to put the link down in the description. Maybe you could help make somebody's holiday prayers come true. Anyways, let's talk about Lauren the Mortician. I'm not going to rehash all of this stuff that's been talked about and the controversy surrounding Lauren the Mortician and her attorney Jeanette, other than to talk about the fact that they have filed so many copyright claims and strikes, and YouTube has deflected a lot of them and realized that they were not legitimate. They don't like the fact that YouTube won't do what they want them to do and take down people's videos, even though it's fair use and the law is pretty clear, and it's clear to me, and Jeanette's a lawyer, she should know this. Fair use covers the videos that they've tried to take down. So they've now gone and filed the lawsuit in federal court, and it's against several content creators. You may know some of them. I think the lawsuit is ridiculous. I've got it here. We're going to go over it, and I'm going to show you why I think it's so ridiculous, and you can judge for yourself. Let's take a look. Here it is. So it's a complaint and demand for jury trial, and it's in the U.S. District Court, and it's in Illinois. Now, I've redacted out names of people just because, even though I know that this information is public. Jeanette and Lauren. Jeanette's the lawyer. Lauren is Lauren the Mortician. And they're suing Rebecca, Casey, the owner and operator of the online social media account Caffeinated Kitty. And they're suing Lily and Jesse Smiles from the Do We Know Them podcast. So you'll see here it says complaint demand for jury trial. Plaintiff Jeanette, attorney, and her law firm, and Lauren the Mortician, collectively plaintiffs, present their complaint against Rebecca, Jessica, and Lily and Casey, the user and operator of social media accounts Caffeinated Kitty, and allege as follows. The nature of the case: diversity action asserting Illinois state law claim for defamation per se. Another defamation case in social media that is absolutely ridiculous, and they just keep coming. It's not just defamation, it's also trade libel, false light, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and tortious interference with business interests because of defendants' publication and dissemination of slanderous and defamatory statements regarding plaintiffs that were false, harmful, and offensive. Plaintiff Jeanette is licensed to practice law in Illinois and operates the law firm, her law firm, and resides in Illinois, on a part-time basis. And when they say diversity action, what they mean is all the parties are not in Illinois. They live in different places. Plaintiff's law firm is a limited liability company organized, I think they meant, and existing under the state laws of Illinois. Plaintiff Lauren the Mortician is a citizen resident of Wisconsin. Upon information and belief, defendant Rebecca is a citizen resident of state, and I'm not going to put her state. Upon information and belief, defendant Casey is a citizen and resident of the state of blank. Upon information and belief, defendant Jessica, Jesse Smiles, is a citizen and resident of a state that is neither of the two states where the plaintiffs live, Lily, and so on. Now, it's jurisdiction and venue. The court has jurisdiction over the subject matter of this action. It's an action between plaintiff Jeanette, who is a part-time resident and owns a business in the state of Illinois, and her law firm, an Illinois limited liability company, against the defendants, who, upon information and belief, are citizens of various states. And the amount in controversy exceeds $75,000. So in other words, the damages you expect to get need to be at least $75,000 in order for it to go to federal court. Now the background. Okay, this is now where the BS comes into play. Defamatory statements against plaintiff Lauren, known as Lauren the Mortician, by defendant KC, known as Caffeinated Kitty. Lauren is a licensed mortician and operates a social media account known publicly as Lauren the Mortician. Lauren posts social media videos and commentary that bring awareness about common safety issues causing people's demise. Her content provides lighthearted and educational videos that discuss people's non-existence, the loss of loved ones, and demystify the occupations and profession that work with deceased persons. Lighthearted, that's kind of a weird lighthearted topic, but okay. In her social media career, Lauren amassed millions of followers on the social media platform TikTok, as well as sponsorships and monetization of her videos. Of these sponsorship deals, Lauren was sponsored in a brand partnership with a famous documentary channel. Now, it's weird because why don't they name the channel? If, she's going to have to name it. You can't just say, oh, I've got this brand deal I lost. Well, what's the brand deal? So that's going to come out at some point. I don't know why it's not here. Defendant Casey is a social media personality, publicly known as Caffeinated Kitty. Defendant Casey describes herself as a villain life coach. On or around October 24th, 2023, Defendant Casey published a video of herself to TikTok where she made statements about Lauren and identified her by her public persona, Lauren the Mortician. In the October 24th, 2023 video, Defendant Casey accused Lauren of being transphobic and a TERF because she liked posts by a conservative social media personality who was in a gay relationship. TERF is a derogatory slur in feminist groups and a highly offensive term. I'm not going to read what the acronym stands for because I don't want YouTube to flag it. And they give a link to the dictionary definition, and there's images that they show about the posts, which we don't need to go over. She alleges that Casey announced that she compiled a list of links to posts that Lauren liked, which contained transphobic and hateful rhetoric. Upon information and belief, none of the videos defendant Casey linked contained transphobic and hateful rhetoric. Upon information and belief, defendant Casey's motive and intent behind these posts were to tarnish and damage Lauren's reputation. Due to Lauren's following and fame, the allegation that she is transphobic spread quickly throughout the internet and became the source of multiple posts, comments, and blog articles. The impact of the allegation caused Lauren immediate and irreparable harm to her reputation. Specifically, Lauren lost numerous followers, her contract with the famous and popular documentary channel, and a podcast deal that was in negotiations. Again, no specifics. Defamatory statements against Jeanette and her law firm by defendant KC, aka Caffeinated Kitty. Along with the video, defendant Casey used screenshots of comments that were authored by Lauren to engage with her fans. These comments included original opinions and thoughts that do not relate to or support the allegations that Lauren was phobic. Lauren hired attorney Jeanette to assist with her copyright infringement claims by filing a Digital Millennium Copyright Act complaint to the social media platforms hosting the video. Attorney filed a DMCA complaint to the social media company Meta regarding the use of copyrighted material on defendant Casey's post on Facebook that copied Lauren's copyright protectable material. The DMCA complaint and request for removal of the content was limited to just the post identified. Following the DMCA complaint being filed, the platform agreed with the claim and approved her removal request. Now, so it looks like they're talking just about Facebook at this particular point, so I don't know what happened with the Facebook stuff. They may have granted the DMCA request, but YouTube does that too. However, after it's been reviewed or it's been challenged, a lot of times they'll put the stuff back up. So this might be misleading, I don't know, depending on whether Facebook does the same thing. On November 4th, Meta removed Casey's post that copied her copyrighted material. Upon information and belief, on or around November 4th, defendant Casey's entire Facebook account was locked by Meta, and defendant Casey could not access it. Why that is relevant, I'm not sure. On or around November 4th to November 5th, in TikTok story posts following Meta locking defendant Casey's account, defendant Casey posted various videos where she appeared. Okay, now we're venturing into interesting territory and questionable territory. It says Casey posted various videos where she appeared irrational and engaging in erratic behavior, such as threatening people online through various social media platforms. A TikTok story post is a brief, and then they explain what a TikTok is. We all know what it is. The plaintiffs were concerned about Casey's mental health and safety. Okay, do you believe that? Do you really believe that these two women who despise these creators were concerned about Casey's mental health? And first of all, what qualifies them to make an assessment of her mental health? One of them's a mortician and one of them's a lawyer. Neither of them has a degree in psychiatry that I'm aware of. So that's my first red flag here, okay? But the fact that they say that they were concerned, which prompted them to call a wellness check to her local non-emergency hotline. A wellness check. Does that sound familiar? Who else did that? Oh, it begins with an I and ends with an I. Illuminati. So I don't believe for a minute they were really concerned. I think, in my opinion, I look at this as a way to harass Casey, because I really don't believe they were concerned about her mental health. Defendant Casey used her social media accounts to express her anger and resentment of plaintiff Jeanette and her law firm. On or about November 13th, 2023, counsel for defendant Casey contacted Jeanette to engage in a discussion about the copyright infringement report, and they were in settlement discussions. Settlement discussions, I'm assuming Jeanette wanted her to take the video down and they were talking about it. I don't know. I'm sure it doesn't mean money. On or about November 21st, while settlement discussions were still ongoing, defendant Casey posted a video accusing Lauren of using Jeanette to file bad faith copyright claims with social media platforms. In the same video, defendant Casey accused attorney Jeanette of filing bad faith copyright infringement strikes against defendant Casey. As of the filing this complaint, the video identified above was viewed approximately 928,000 times. From what I've seen on videos I've watched by other creators, and Marky, I think, had posted one yesterday, a lot of these copyright claims, yes, even though YouTube took the videos down, it was only temporary. And I saw where YouTube had responded to Jeanette and said, we believe this falls under fair use on a number of these claims. And apparently, from what I understand, she's a serial filer. Now, how many of them ultimately are rejected by YouTube, I don't know. But her accusing her of filing bad faith copyright infringement strikes, if YouTube says that it's fair use, then I would agree, in my opinion, that that is a bad faith filing. Especially when you've done it once and YouTube tells you it's fair use. You would think, especially being an attorney, that she would understand why YouTube rejected it and not file any similar claims. You would think. On November 25th, 2023, defendant Casey posted the same video again on TikTok. As of December 14th, the second posting has received over 263,000 views. And they give a link to it. Upon information believed, defendant Casey receives compensation from TikTok based on the number of views a video receives. Whoop-de-doo. And thus is profiting from their posts that spread the false statements about Lauren and Jeanette that are described in this complaint. Upon information and belief, on or around November 21st, 2023, defendant Casey created a page on the donation platform called GoFundMe. On the GoFundMe page, DC revealed attorney Jeanette's name and identity by posting a portion of Jeanette's cease and desist letter. Okay, well, you can't call that defamatory because she posted Jeanette's letter, cease and desist letter. Well, that's the truth. She's posting the exact document that Jeanette sent her. So why is that relevant? It's not defamatory. I'm sorry if you don't like the fact that she posted it. You shouldn't have sent it. So she can do whatever the hell she wants with that letter. Jeanette, of course, doesn't like the fact that, now she's showing people what a horrible person I am. On or around December 8th, Casey published her email response to Jeanette and falsely claimed that attorney Jeanette filed a false copyright claim and that she was a fan of Lauren the Mortician that was not actually retained to be Lauren's attorney. Upon information and belief, Casey knowingly published these statements after learning that Jeanette was in fact retained by Lauren. Now defamatory statements made by defendant Rebecca. Defendant is a social media content creator known as Becca Day, who holds herself out to be an unbiased content creator and an independent investigative reporter. Upon information and belief, defendant has no professional training or degree in journalism. How do they know this, first of all? What do they do, a background check on her? How do they know? Second of all, What does it matter if she has a degree in journalism? You don't have to. There's no law that requires you to have a degree in journalism to report on things. Otherwise, most of us on YouTube who do commentary wouldn't be here. Okay, upon information belief, the below screenshot is an accurate copy of defendant's LinkedIn profile. As the filing of the complaint, doesn't matter. What they're trying to say is she doesn't list any experience as a reporter, so she's not a reporter. Well, that's just BS. Upon information and belief, defendant creates content that disparages public figures and other celebrities that she monetizes for income from TikTok. Upon information and belief, defendant receives compensation from TikTok based on the number of views a video receives, and thus is profiting from her posts that spread false statements about Jeanette and Lauren that are described in this complaint. During her social media career, defendant has been accused of posting false and untrue statements about public figures such as Grammy Award-winning musician Diplo and other prominent social personalities. I would argue that they're trying to say that, oh, look, she's been accused of this, therefore she must be defaming Jeanette and Lauren. In November 2023, defendant made content regarding defendant Casey's claims. So they're trying to say that because she reported what Casey said, that somehow she's defaming them too. Number one, in order for it to be defamation, it's got to be false. Number two, they're alleging, and you'll see later, actual malice, which means that she would have to know that these statements were not true when she repeated them. I highly doubt that she had that knowledge and that she was merely reporting on stuff that Casey was saying because it was an area that she covers. It says, upon information and belief, defendant did not conduct any investigation that involved fact-checking or reaching out to knowledgeable parties to verify the information in her posts. Defendant never contacted the plaintiffs to verify the information. Defendant created and posted videos stating the false claim that attorney Jeanette files false copyright strikes is unethical and is a rogue attorney, some of which are shown below. Becca Day replied to your comment, I posted proof on my page that your legal name is attached to the false copyright strikes. Don't know why you're behaving like this on the internet. Well, Jeanette says that she used her name. Well, what Becca Day is saying is, well, you filed the copyright strike. It's not a confidential document. It lists your name, so you're putting it out there. Another post from Becca Day, it says, there are a group of creators on this app who have weaponized Jeanette's aggressive, threatening, and unethical tactic to scare creators off the app. I have a list of creators who have utilized Jeanette and another list of creators who have been wrongfully impacted by false copyright strikes sent in by Jeanette. Again, what this comes down to is Jeanette saying that her copyright strikes were legitimate. YouTube, on the responses that I've seen, has said to her, no, they're not. They're not infringing on your copyright. They're covered under fair use. Therefore, we're not going to take the video down permanently. And they put the videos back up. So she doesn't like this. Well, I'm sorry if you don't like it, but the law is the law, Miss Attorney. And if you don't like the law, I don't know what to tell you, but you can't just impose your will upon them just because you don't like what somebody said. In a since deleted video from TikTok, defendant stated her intent to ruin Jeanette's career as a social media lawyer. And they give a quote, but I just wanted to make it very clear that my position is to ensure that there is not a rogue attorney on this app. So I don't know that that statement says that she intends to ruin her career as a social media lawyer. Harassment campaign against former clients. Upon information and belief, defendant is using the above false statements to incite an angry mob and harassment campaign against Jeanette's past clients that are social media influencers. Now, that sounds like speculation to me. What she's probably seeing is that, as we know, people will see something on YouTube and they will send hate to a person. I doubt that Becca Day told people to go after her or her former clients. That's an unfortunate side effect of having stuff on social media and being on social media and making posts. Defendant's harassment campaign has had detrimental effects on Jeanette's former clients and caused emotional distress and harm. Okay, so if she means that it's caused emotional distress and harm to the former clients, she can't plead that in this complaint. She has no standing to plead emotional distress and harm on behalf of her former clients. That would have to be a lawsuit that those people bring. In particular, defendant has focused her criticism of Jeanette for her past representation of her client Demps. Upon information and belief, defendant communicated with a known S-word and harasser of the client. The client has an active order of protection against this person to stop her from harassing her and her child and her child is protected by the order of protection. And then it says, upon information and belief, defendant also communicated with this person who I'm going to redact, who was a known associate of the person who was the harasser and works with her to harass the former client. Upon information and belief, this person told defendant about the order of protection. Upon information and belief, defendant contacted the former client after communicating with these two alleged harassers while knowing that the client had an order of protection against the harasser, in part to protect her young child. Upon information and belief, defendant posted a video about the client after communicating with those people to assist them with continuing to harass the former client. Now, I don't know what video she's talking about, so I can't verify what she's claiming here, but it sounds a little strange to me that Becca Day would help these people harass this former client. Harassment campaign against Jeanette and her law firm. In a TikTok story post, defendant created and posted a story on TikTok stating that the Illinois Attorney Registration and Disciplinary Commission told her they received multiple credible complaints about Jeanette, and they've assigned multiple attorneys to investigate the matter. I see a post here where she says, just got confirmation from the Illinois Attorney Disciplinary Commission that they've received multiple credible complaints and have assigned attorneys to investigate. I have an attorney representing me locally and in Illinois now to ensure this woman is stopped. Enough is enough. So I don't know. So that does sound a little threatening. The Attorney Registration Commission is the governing body overseeing regulating conduct of attorneys. It operates under the authority of Illinois Supreme Court, which has the sole authority to regulate admission and discipline of lawyers. All attorney investigations are confidential until the commission brings a complaint against an attorney. Upon information and belief, the commission does not comment or provide input on the merits of an investigation to anyone calling to inquire about a registered attorney. To be fair, I'm going to say that I'm agreeing with what she's saying here, that this is not information that normally would be just given to a member of the public, unless they'd actually made a charge against the attorney after investigating them, and that would be public information. So her saying this, if it's not true, that is defamatory. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. As of filing the complaint, Jeanette is an attorney in good standing and has zero misconduct violations on her record. Defamatory statements made by Jesse, Smiles, and Lily. Upon information and belief, defendants are owners and co-hosts of the Do We Know Them podcast. The Do We Know Them podcast is an online weekly video podcast that's also disseminated through various audio platforms where defendants promote online controversies, rumors, and celebrity gossip. Upon information and belief, and here she's doing this again, neither defendant has any professional training as a news reporter, journalist, or any degrees in those industries or related ones. Upon information and belief, defendants did not conduct any investigation that involved fact-checking or reaching out to knowledgeable parties to verify the information in their posts. Defendants did not contact the plaintiffs to verify the information in their posts prior to publishing them. In November 2023, defendants began posting several videos discussing the dispute between defendant Casey and the plaintiffs. In the videos, defendants expressed a strong contempt for Lauren and Jeanette. Okay, well, they're entitled to do that. They're entitled to an opinion. If they think certain conduct is reprehensible, they're entitled to that opinion and they can express that. It's called the First Amendment. In the videos, defendants mocked Jeanette, mispronouncing her name as Janet instead of Jeanette. Okay, well, that's not defamation. Maybe it's a little mean, but it's certainly not defamation. And wah, sorry your feelings got hurt. Defendants identified Jeanette by her full name. Okay, well, that's public information. And expressly noted that they intentionally mispronounced her name because it was fun, but that they were still referring to Jeanette. Again, sorry your feelings got hurt, but that's not defamatory. In detailing defendant Casey's disputes with the plaintiffs, defendants published statements about attorney Jeanette's clients and her legal practice. In the video, defendants stated that reputable and known content creators hire Jeanette to represent them and take down videos that use their likeness or photographs without their permission. Okay, well, nothing wrong with that. Without discussing the full context of any specific post or takedown, defendants stated that Jeanette's practices were unethical. Now, if, again, we're talking about copyright claims that Jeanette has made, whether for herself or on behalf of clients, if you're filing false copyright claims, that's unethical. So I don't see how that's defamatory. Following this comment, defendants discussed Jeanette's other clients to remove posts that misuse their intellectual property images. I don't know what the hell she's trying to say there. Following this, defendant stated that Jeanette is unethical. Okay, again, If you're filing copyright claims for material that's covered by fair use, I would call that unethical. Upon information belief, defendant continued to make false accusations and accused attorney of unethical behavior on various platforms. In a since-removed post, defendant Lily made further false accusations and referenced Jeanette through a past client and accused her of actively committing perjury. The post says, I gotta say, one of our biggest questions in all of this is, do we think Demps knows that her, which is a former client, knows that her embarrassing excuse for a lawyer is using her name while actively committing perjury? Someone might want to tell her. I don't know what she's referring to. Damage to the reputation and harm to the law firm and Jeanette. As a direct result of the false and defamatory statements made by defendant Casey and defendant Day, an angry internet mob was incited to further echo and spread the collective false statements that Lauren is phobic, Jeanette is unethical, Jeanette files false copyright claims, and Jeanette's a rogue attorney. Now, calling her a rogue attorney, I think that could be considered opinion. It's not really defamation. The posts and comments published by the defendants caused their various fans and followers to post negative 1-star Google reviews. Now, this is malicious. Against the attorney and her law firm to harm their reputation. In addition, fans and followers of the defendant searched for, contacted, and harassed her known and suspected social media clients. Again, then your beef is with those people who did that. As a direct result of the negative attention from the defendant's false statements, Jeanette lost a potential client due to fear of being harassed for using Jeanette's legal services. Now, she doesn't name the potential client, so that she's going to have to prove that at trial if it gets that far. In addition to the above statements, fans and followers of the defendants are encouraging others to file complaints against Jeanette with the Disciplinary Commission in Illinois. The continued spread and reposting of these false statements against attorney Jeanette and her law firm caused damage and irreparable reputational harm on a daily basis. Based on what I've read from YouTube's responses to her, I think that they're going to be able to prove that those statements are true in court, and so they're not defamation. Now she's going on to count 1, defamation per se against defendant Casey by Lauren the Mortician. Lauren repeats and alleges the allegations. Defendant Casey defamed Lauren by publicly stating that Lauren was a TERF and transphobic and used her platform to attack Lauren's character and reputation. Defendant Casey made these defamatory statements publicly across multiple social media platforms, including but not limited to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. Defendant Casey made these defamatory statements publicly across multiple social media platforms, including but not limited to Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Defendant Casey's defamatory statements concerned plaintiff as they reference her by her public persona, Lauren the Mortician. The average viewer understood the statements to be about Lauren. Statements were defamatory because they harmed Lauren's reputation by lowering her in the eyes of the community and deterring the community from associating with her. The false statements were defamatory per se because the harm to plaintiff's reputation is obvious and apparent on its face. Being called phobic is akin to being called a bigot or racist, and these defamatory statements cause plaintiff to be viewed by others as transphobic and not an inclusive person. If she's saying that she was discriminatory, if Lauren was discriminatory based on the fact that the people she likes have these views, that could be a problem. But if she's saying that Lauren liked posts that contained these views, then I think that it's a fair inference, and I think it'd be hard for Lauren to prove that those are defamatory statements. The statements resulted in Lauren losing her contract with a famous documentary channel and podcast deal that was in final negotiation. The statements prejudiced plaintiff in her profession and harmed her ability to earn future sponsorship followers. Now, again, she doesn't name these supposed deals that she lost. Defendant Casey's posting to a TikTok was unprivileged publication of the statements to third parties. If they're found to be defamatory, that would be true. As a proximate result of the publication of false statements of fact about Lauren, she sustained injuries to her good name, character, and reputation so as to establish presumed damages. As a proximate result of Casey's publication of false statements of fact about Lauren, she was harmed and continues to be harmed in that she's experienced economic and non-economic damage, including emotional distress and mental anguish, which we've talked about this before, extremely hard to prove. Highly unlikely that Lauren can prove that she's suffered emotional distress. Okay, it's a very high bar. And things that you might think rise to the level of emotional distress oftentimes are not found to be in a court of law. So this is just, I think this is horse pucky, as my grandfather would say. Defendant Casey's defamatory statements were made with knowledge of their falsity and with a reckless disregard for the truth, so as to justify an award of punitive damages. Jeanette and her law firm's defamatory claims against Casey, and they say that by publicly stating that Jeanette files false copyright lawsuits and by implying that she was acting as an attorney without being hired by Lauren the Mortician and used her platform to attack their character and reputation. So they're saying she defamed them by this. Now, I don't see how saying that Jeanette was not hired by Lauren the Mortician as her attorney is defamatory. That's not defamatory. I don't know why that's even in here. Saying that she files false copyright lawsuits or claims, if she can show, and like I said, based on what I've seen of Marky showed in his video, some of the responses YouTube gave to her, I would say that the law is on Casey's side in that instance, because YouTube seems to think that the claims were false. Casey made these defamatory statements publicly across social media. The statements concerned Jeanette and her law firm, as they referenced Jeanette by her first and last name in the documents. Whoopee again. The average viewer understood the statements to be about Jeanette and the owner of the law firm. Statements were defamatory because they harmed plaintiff's reputation. False statements were defamation per se because the harm to plaintiff's reputation is obvious and apparent on its face. Being accused of being an unethical lawyer that files frivolous copyright claims that painted Jeanette in a false light and incited others to act against her. This resulted in attorney Jeanette losing potential clients. Again, she's going to have to prove that. And having others repeat the same false accusations against her. Now, again, from what I've seen, these copyright claims that YouTube did not ultimately allow to stand was because YouTube told her that the things that she was asking to be taken down fell under the protection of fair use under the copyright law. I don't care what her opinion is on that. The law is what matters. YouTube has said the law is protecting the use by these people of this content. Therefore, your claim is not legitimate. Therefore, your claim is not valid and arguably is frivolous. And then, as approximate result, and I'm not going to, a lot of these things repeat the same kind of stuff, so we don't need to keep repeating it, but, it's saying that the statements caused injury to her and she suffered damages. Then defamation against Becca Day by Jeanette and her law firm. Defendant defamed plaintiffs by publicly stating that attorney was unethical, that she files false copyright lawsuits without proper investigation and used her platform to attack their character and reputation. Defamation against Jesse Smiles and Lily by Jeanette and her law firm. Defendants are business partners that defamed the plaintiffs by stating that Jeanette is unethical and commits perjury and using their platform to smear Jeanette's character and reputation. She's saying the defendants made these defamatory statements publicly across multiple platforms, and she goes on to list all the places where their podcast is carried, and we don't need to go through those. Defamatory statements concern Jeanette and her law firm, as they referenced her by her full name, Jeanette blank. The average viewer understood the statement to be about Jeanette, the owner of the law firm. Statements were defamatory because they harmed her reputation. They're defamatory per se because it's obvious that they're false, which it's not obvious to me. Being accused of being an unethical lawyer that perjures herself while filing copyright claims painted her in a false light. I say that the defendant's posts on various platforms are unprivileged publications. As a proximate result of the publication of the defamatory and false statements, they sustained injuries to their good name, character, and reputation so as to established presumed damages. As a proximate result, the plaintiffs were harmed, continue to be harmed, in that they've experienced economic and non-economic damages. Again, they have to prove all that in court. And I'm gonna sort of skip. We've covered like the meat of what they're alleging, why I think it's bogus for the most part. There's some bits of it that are questionable because I don't know all of the facts, but for the most part, the defamation claims I think are bogus. And so they go on, these false light accusations. And again, it's, just about the fact that the false accusations cause them damages. And they say there's count for trade libel. Now you see count 13 is tortious interference with contract against KC by Lauren the Mortician. And basically what she's saying is that because KC made these statements that Lauren lost a brand deal and a potential podcast deal. And they're saying that that's tortious interference. Again, she's going to have to prove all of this in court. And they make the same claims against the other defendants, saying that disparaging them and repeating statements about Jeanette and her law firm are have interfered with her relations for potential business. And then there's the count 15 is intentional infliction of emotional distress. This stuff that they're describing here does not rise to the level, in my opinion, in my experience, does not rise to extreme and outrageous conduct. This whole emotional distress claim, I think, is out the window. And there's, here's another one. I think these are out the window. Cedric is here to join us. This is now what they're asking. We're at the end of the lawsuit. Wherefore, plaintiff respectfully requests court to enter judgment in their favor against defendants, each of them jointly and severally. Jointly and severally means that you can collect damages from one or all of them. So in other words, collectively, whatever the amount is, they could all be responsible for contributing to pay, or you could go after one of them for the whole amount if the others can't pay. I don't think this is appropriate, in my opinion, in my professional view, to have it jointly and severally. They should be asking for damages specifically, as to Casey, they asked for damages. As to Lily and Jesse Smiles, they asked for these damages. I think it should be broken out by defendant. I don't think it should be lumped together like this. And they're asking also for the court to issue an injunction, joining them from repeating this stuff. And they're asking for an order requiring Casey to retract, remove, and repudiate in full all defamatory and disparaging statements against Lauren. And they're asking for an order against defendants requiring them to retract, remove, and repudiate in full all defamatory and disparaging statements against Jeanette and her law firm, against all defendants. What she's talking about in this second order against all the defendants is, again, the allegations that she filed false copyright strikes. And they want attorney's fees and costs, of course. So that's the lawsuit. I think, like a lot of these defamation cases, for the most part, it's bullshit. I don't think it's going to pass muster in the court. I don't think they're going to win. People just think that everything someone says that's negative about them is defamation. A lot of times it's opinion. A lot of times it's actually true. That's not defamation. We've talked about this before. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. Oh, and by the way, you can't really see it, but I'm wearing my Sour Boys Christmas sweater from Oompaville. I bought this. He did not send it to me. This is not a sponsorship, but I like his candy, by the way. Let's go over quickly. I've got some people to thank. We've got people who have been very generous this holiday season. So we've got a bunch of people to thank. And if I missed somebody or something that you sent, please just let me know. Send me a message. Got a lot of slips here. They send a lot of slips in these boxes when they don't forget to put slips in. I want to thank Amberly, who sent us one of those beautiful collapsible pet carriers. Thank you so much, Amberly, for that. I appreciate that. I want to thank Maury, who sent us a thing of cat litter. I want to thank Danae, who sent us a cat ball toy that's got like bells inside of it, which the cats really like. Thank you so much for that, Danae. Thank you to somebody who is anonymous. These do occasionally, people don't put their names, but somebody who sent us another one of those beautiful elevated water and food bowls, which I like. I don't like them to be right on the floor because the cats make a mess. Again, I'd like to thank Maury for sending us some cat treats. And I would like to thank Rebecca and Bubby for sending us some catnip toys, the catnip mice that the cats really love. I'd like to thank Rebecca M for sending us one of those beautiful warm round cat beds that the cats love and sending us a bunch of catnip mice. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank Danae again for sending us some shrimp flavored cat treats and for sending us some more catnip toys. So thank you so much to all of you guys. We really, really appreciate the stuff from the Cat's Amazon wish list that's in the description. Your generosity is amazing. We love you so much. We love all of our Patreon patrons. Thank you so much for your monthly support, which helps me do things like take Sybil again for her almost twice monthly treatment for her mouth. I appreciate you. I appreciate our channel members as well for your monthly support. Thank you, all of you. I hope you guys have a happy holiday. I've got another video I'm going to make. I'm hoping to get it up before Christmas. And I've got another Illuminati video coming because there's another new development that I'm going to report on as soon as I get the paperwork that I'm waiting for. So stay tuned. In the interim, take care of yourselves, love one another, and I will see you in the next one.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.